Hey, KU fans, welcome back to a special edition of KU Sports Extra. And all football, all pretty much one topic.
You might call it emergency edition.
I will. Emergency edition of KU Sports Extra. All football, all one topic. And I said pretty much because I hope we can keep it to one topic. With the two of us, it's possible it'll drift here and there.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to keep it in the lane, keep it down the center of the road.
Let's face it, I'm wicked ADD and you're a compulsive talker. So that's a prescription for veering off course.
It is, and it's why this show is so much fun to watch for you guys out there. We're going to talk about Kansas football, and I know it's March, and if you didn't check out our Big 12 tournament preview, you need to do that. That was the real KU Sports edition this week, or KU Sports Extra. So check that out. But we needed to dive into the David Beaty taking over the play calling for Kansas football. He announced that on Sunday after the first day of spring practice, and we don't know how it's going to go yet, obviously. Tom has his opinions on what kind of move it is, whether it's good, whether it's bad, what it means. I do too, and I don't think we totally agree. I don't think we totally disagree either. A lot of it is because it has to be seen. We have to see how it works. But what's your first take on the move itself?
I'll tell you, my first take was a lot like David Beaty's take that's been seen over and over and over again on Vine. Picture me with a white baseball cap and read my lips if you can, because my reaction was, you gotta be kidding me. I couldn't believe that he's putting this much pressure on himself, this much on his plate, this quickly. It's just unbelievable. My approach with this was, you leave the guy alone for 7 years, not even 5. Let him recruit high school players and just take the gradual approach where you don't expect anything for the first few years. And then in maybe the 5th year, you expect a little progress, and by the 7th year, they can maybe win a fair amount of games. Now, this changes everything because he is completely already put the pressure on himself. He's already demoted offensive coordinator Rob Likens and quarterbacks coach. He will still be called the offensive coordinator. He won't be coordinating the offense. Yeah, he won't be coaching the quarterbacks. He'll be a, quote, walk-around guy. In other words, he'll walk when Beaty's working with the quarterbacks. He might walk and look and give a suggestion. He'll walk and look and give a suggestion with the receivers. And he said he'll be working closely with Zach Yenser. Zach Yenser is one of the 3 coaches on the staff who is in the same job he was a year ago. They lost 5 coaches, demoted the coordinator. So really, the 3 are now Yenser and Clint Bowen, and don't tell me I'm going to get this right. Yenser, Clint Bowen's a new D-line coach, a new linebackers coach, and Kenny Perry.
Kenny Powers.
Is back. Kenny Perry is the
KP.
co-defensive coordinator and the cornerbacks coach. And so really, Shane Zenger,
Athletic director. Sorry,
is the one who hired the defensive coordinator, Clint Bowen. So really, only 2 of the guys are in the same position of all the guys he hired, because I'm not going to say Clint Bowen, because Clint Bowen was given assurances that he'd be the defensive coordinator by Shane Zenger in exchange for being the interim coach when you didn't have much of a chance to look good. I think Clint wouldn't have taken it other than that assurance, but really it was not a good move. You should let the new coach hire his own defense coordinator, and it might have been
Clint Bowen.
It might have been Clint
Sure.
Bowen, but you got to let him hire his own coach.
Sure. Well, bringing it back to the center, that was not too far of a veer. It was just like a squirrel ran out and we had to dodge and then dodge back. But here's the reason that I like the move. Number one, I think the offense was garbage last year, and they had garbage players, so that was part of it. But I do think that something had to be done. It was clear all last season that David Beaty was not impressed, not happy with the way the offense was. He said it every week. We got to find a way to score more points. Every week. We got to find a way to get some more production. Well, this is his way of finding it. This is his way of doing it, and I think it started in the offseason early on with the idea of what we did last year was not really the air raid that I wanted it to be. Part of that's personnel, of course, but now he's tweak some things and some new hires and some new schemes and some new plans, and he's going to do what he says is, quote, more of a true air raid system. So number one, he's trying to change it. He's doing something about it. And number two, he's rolling up his sleeves and getting involved in it. I agree with you completely that it puts the target squarely on his back, but I think that's a bold move, and I think that's something that you can admire because
you can admire it. It was a gutsy move.
Right,
There's no question
right.
about that. But so really what you're saying is that David Beatty erred in hiring Rob Likens in the most important position that he had to hire because Shane Zenger hired the defensive coordinator.
That's definitely what he's saying. Whether I'm saying it or not,
right.
That's what this move
says.
So
that's not good right there in and of
correct.
itself.
And it was 0-12 because of it.
And he hired him and praised his brilliance, offensive mind, said he was blown away by the receiver drills he saw him do and that he was much more sophisticated than he was in terms of those receiver drills. And he was an air raid guy. He painted him as an air raid guy who worked for Sonny Dykes. Was he not an air raid guy? What?
Right.
And did he vet how much of an air raid guy he was? This is troubling to me.
Yeah.
And then when you have so much on your plate already as a second-year head coach, what has happened here is Kansas in the Big 12 going against a Big 12 schedule now has a guy and a coach in his second year as a head coach with a 0-12 record as a head coach, seeking his first win. So before getting the roster up to speed to do better than 0-12, to prove that you've done better than that, he already puts more duties on his plate as basically the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. And you've got a 3-year guarantee. You thought so. You vetted him so well, you thought, that you give him $3-year $1 million guarantee. And now, after one season, you're taking that on your plate. So Kansas now has, as their offensive coordinator and head coach, a man with 1 year of head coaching experience in 0-12 and 1 year as an offensive coordinator, and that was at Rice when they went 4-8.
Right. No doubt about it. It's no guarantee that it's going to work. It could be a disaster. It could work, and it still might not matter. They could still be 1-11.
Right, which then really cranks double pressure up on
it does. And my read, though, is that in order for it to be deemed successful in any way, however much or little you think that is a success will be determined after the season. But in order for it to be called successful, all Beatty has to do is be better than Likens was last year. And then that was a success. Then it was a good move. To do that, I think he has some advantages. I think he's got a line that's better, more equipped to be good. 2 freshman tackles held up last year. They didn't dominate, they didn't win games, but they held up, and they didn't have to replace them. They should be better, they should be more experienced, and they should be stronger, so that's a positive. Keon Kenner's healthy. We found out just the other day that he wasn't healthy all of last year. That helps. The young receivers, especially Jeremiah Booker and Steven Sims, both have a year under their belt, and if Ryan Willis comes back and is the quarterback after his wrist injury, then he's got some time under his belt. So those are all advantages that Likens didn't have that should benefit Beatty. Whether it does or not, we'll see.
How about doing this instead? So he has faith in his own ability to teach teenagers his type of air raid offense.
But he
didn't have faith in his own ability to teach a veteran football coach his version of the air raid offense.
Yeah, that's curious.
Coach your coaches and let them coach.
Yeah, that is curious, and I think it comes down to what he said. And to his credit, I think you would agree with this. To Beatty's credit, he there was no mixing of words or anything. He stood up and said, "This is why I'm doing it," and this.
Absolutely, he didn't let
it
drib and drab and shake out. Not at all shady.
Right.
He's not a shady guy.
Right.
He's an upfront guy. I just think that he has made it so difficult on himself.
Yeah.
That. Why do that? Why do this early? Nobody was being impatient.
Right, nobody.
And now he's set himself up for judgment. And, sure, that shows a lot of confidence and a lot of guts. We'll see if it showed any wisdom.
Right. As he said, my name's on it, So I want to get in there and get more involved. And I admire that. I like that because his name is on it. Whether it was Rob Likens' offense, it was Dave Beatty's team.
Coach your coaches and let them coach.
I don't think that's a bad idea either. I really agree with that. It's fascinating. It brings some intrigue. Tom wrote it in his column. It makes this season that probably would have been another rough season and probably will be still, it gives you a little reason to pay attention and see, boy, is this
you can't
gonna
ignore
work?
it now.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. It's a fascinating experiment. And there are many, many blown-up test tubes throughout chemistry labs in high school forever. And David Hassenauer will probably never forgive me. He was my lab partner, a very serious, mature kid. I was very immature. He'll probably never forgive me for blowing up a test tube right in his presence.
Man.
I'm sorry, David. What can I say? I'm still not as mature as you were as a 14-year-old lab partner in Introduction to Physical Science, but I was a faster runner than you.
We'll see if the KU football offense and all the parts that go in that test tube blow up or if it works. It'll be
I
interesting.
hope it works.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is a brilliant move.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool to find out. And I do think the only way to find out is let the season play out, and we'll see how it happens. You may be able to start reading into it a little earlier, 3-4 games even, but
Or I might even try to talk him out of it.
there you go. Let's get on to that, and we'll see how that goes. But it is fascinating. It is interesting. To be clear, to be fair, I don't think it means more wins, even if it does work, but I do think it's possible that it could be a good move. Tom thinks maybe, but he also
No,
thinks,
I don't think it's a good move. I think it was...
Well, you think it could end up being okay.
anything could end up
Right.
being okay. I mean, I could wake up tomorrow more mature than David Hassenauer.
You could. Will you?
No.
Check next week to find out. KU Sports Extra. Thanks for checking out this episode. And if you didn't watch our basketball one, be sure to do that. And we'll have another one next week, NCAA tournament style. Thanks for checking out this episode. We'll talk to you guys next time.